Iranian drones attack in Israel, IDF shot down 2. Russian media report that Hamas has begun using Iranian drones to carry out attacks on cities in Israel. According to IDF, the Hamas political military movement used strike drones, including kamikaze drones. According to the Israeli media Jerusalem Post, Hamas has Shahab drones, which Iran has developed based on the Iranian Ababil drone. There is no official information about the presence of drones in the Hamas movement. Still, sources claim that Iran armed the political military movement with at least 30 unmanned aerial vehicles at the beginning of the year. And if the Russian media does not indicate the source of its information and raises doubts about its authenticity, then the Times of Israel confirmed the claims of the Russians. According to the website, the Ministry of Defense sources say that Hamas uses drones to strike Israel. Even in the last hours, the IDF confirmed that the Iron Dome had shot down a drone that had entered the country's airspace. We remind you that yesterday, an Israeli F-16 shot down another drone, which was supposed to be a kamikaze drone. It remains unknown whether Hamas' first attempts at drone bombing and destruction, or whether the movement has used dozens since the beginning of the conflict. We cannot help but notice that since the beginning of the intense rocket attacks between Israel and Hamas, Iran, the most significant follower of anti-Israeli policy, has stayed away from the conflict. Iran, of course, has been supplying weapons to Hamas for years, and will continue to do so. However, Tel Aviv skillfully keeps Iran away from direct involvement in the conflict with its political moves. So far, Israel has not blamed Iran for the attacks on its cities, but directly blames the Palestinian Sunni Islamic fundamentalist, but a pragmatic, militant, and nationalist organization, Hamas. Lebanon fires rockets towards Israel. At least 3 rockets have been fired from Lebanon towards Israel, the Israeli military has confirmed. The military said the rockets landed in the Mediterranean Sea, causing no damage or casualties. It said after the rocket attack, according to protocol, no sirens were sounded. The rockets were launched from the Clail area north of Nakura, near the border with Israel. Israel's public broadcaster Kan News said residents in Western Galilee report hearing explosions. Citing security sources, Lebanese media reported that Palestinian factions were likely behind the firing of several rockets from south of the coastal city of Tyre. Lebanon's Al Jadid news channel cited sources saying the rocket launched from southern Lebanon were not fired from Hezbollah platforms. Meanwhile, Lebanese media also reported Israeli warplanes were flying over southern Lebanese regions. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe us to stay updated in real time.
Shalom, give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yoshua Bashim Rakakadash. The honors to the elders and apostles, the edification and knowledge. Call Hallel Yahweh Shem Yoshua Bashim Rakakadash. Give all praise again to Yahweh Bashim Yoshua Bashim Rakakadash. Relating to 2 videos, Lebanon fires rockets towards Israel. And you have another one relating to Iranian drones attack Israel, IDF, which is Israeli Defense Forces, shot down. So 2 videos. So the tensions between the Israel and Palestinians, Hamas groups, Iran, which supplies weaponry to them. So there's escalating tensions. Rocket fire is pretty much all full-scale war. Matthew's 24, Luke 21, Matthew's 13. Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. War, hearing rumors of wars and rumors of wars. So that's what we're seeing. Tensions between these nations. Ezekiel Ezekiel 38, relating to Magog and Gog, talking about and its allies, for example, Russia, Iran, Turkey, China, and their allies, African allies, and versus U.S., Israel, and their allies. Man, that's Ezekiel 38. relating to Magog and Gog. So all these nations, the tensions are building, man. This all also relating to Job. All these nations are going to gather in the land of Yahweh Shaphat, relating to Megiddo, Armageddon. You know what I mean? So all these nations, it's a boiling pot. The stew is boiling. You know what I mean? Regarding these nations, the attention of these nations. Russia, Crimea, Japan, Philippines, India, Pakistan, Crimea, like I was saying. All these nations, the tensions are building, man. Stewing for that brute stewing for World War III, man. We already in it, precursors of it. So this is something short relating to that. Give all praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yahshua, Bashim Rakakadash, Shalom.